Hey, good evening, and welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. Now, your host, Ace.
Player, all star, superstar, whatever. Where were you going with this? I just want you to finish your statement
I
there.
mean, when you're classifying players in the
Yeah.
league, I mean, you classify them in a certain way. When we're talking about role players, that's a category. Players that have
Okay.
a specific role, right?
So
They're not your main guys. They're not your Brunsons, your Cats. They're not your Jokic's or your Jamal Murray's, and that's usually because they're not players you run plays for. You don't run plays. You don't run action for these specific players so they can get points, so they can help you carry in clutch time. 5 minutes to go in the fourth. They're not running a play for Al Horford.
So clarify this for me then. Maybe this is where we're running into a impasse. Clarify this for me. Can a role player also be an all-star?
Yeah, because the
So
fans
can a
can
role
vote you in,
player
or the
be
coaches
can a
can
role
vote
player
you in.
be a
Yeah.
star player? Because
Sorry?
can a role player also be a star on
No.
his or her on
Wait a
their
minute. Wait. Can
respective
a role
team
player be a star player?
on his team?
Can
Because
a
here's the
role
thing.
player be a star player?
Right, because here's the thing, and I'm gonna let you. Why you think
No.
about it? What I'm
No, you
saying. Why
can't.
you? Okay, all right. Because what I'm saying is, if a
I'll put it
star
like this.
player,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
if a star player is defined as a player who is what I this is what I'm trying to figure out. What defines a star player on their team? Because I think that if we're just looking at, like, let's say we're looking at the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
The Knicks have a lot of role players. They have one superstar player and they have one star player.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, that's legitimately fair.
Say it again. The Knicks have what?
The Knicks have one star player.
2 star players.
They have one superstar player. They have one star player.
That's debatable. That's debatable. I happen to agree with
we can
you.
debate that. We can debate.
I
But I'm
happen
just
to
telling
agree
you.
with
I'm
you, but
telling you
that's
how I view
debatable.
it. They have one superstar player. They have one star player, and the rest of the players are role players. And
I
none
agree.
of those role players
I agree.
are stars, and none of those role players are all stars. So,
But
by
that's just
that,
one team. That's just
but
one
I'm
team.
just
Using the
no. But
Knicks
now
as an
I
example.
can look at another team. We're watching right now. We're watching OKC. OKC has one superstar player, right, which is SGA. They have another star player, which is Jalen Williams, who's not playing tonight. And the rest of the players right now, you could say Chet Holmgren, you believe that Chet Holmgren is a star level player, but he hasn't yet put together a star level type of season. But everyone else on the team, they have very good role players with the rest of the team. And this year, two of their players made the All-Star team, SGA and Jalen Williams. So, and if you look at every team in the NBA that has multiple all-star level players, you would say they have a star player. They have either a superstar player or they have a star player, and they have another star player. And then those are the players that you would equate to being the stars on their respective teams. And if they are the stars on their teams, then they are not the role players on their teams because they cannot be both. That's what I'm saying. So again, I'm
All right,
not
fellas. Oh,
unless we're conflating and we're saying you
Wait.
can be a
Hold
star
up.
and be a role player.
Hold up. Hold up.
what'd you find to try to back up your argument? We're going to be talking
I
about the
already, I
playoffs in
already
the
found a
second show.
couple. I already found a couple that I would, but it's all arguable.
Give me
It's
two.
stuff.
No,
It's
no.
stuff
Give
you
me
could
two.
argue.
I'm not going to argue it.
But
Give me two.
what is the
I want to hear
criteria?
this.
5-time
Okay.
All-Stars that are role players?
Yes, I was trying to find role players who made the All-Star
Five
team. I got the
times.
list of every player that ever
Multiple
made the
times.
All-Star
Multiple
team.
time All-Stars.
You said
Every
five.
player that ever made the All-Star team. I got the names right here because I looked it up.
Perfect.
No, 5-time. You said
One
I said
one
it was
that we
5-time
one
All-Stars,
that
right?
we talked about made the All-Star team 5 times. And if you want to say he's not a role player, he's a star player, you could
Let me guess.
argue it.
Ben Wallace?
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups was clearly a star player during
According
his
to your
best season.
criteria, he's a star player.
He
You
was
said he
clearly a
was the
star
leading scorer
player.
on the team, and he
No,
made
because when
multiple
me and
All-Star
Malik were
games.
talking, we kind of semi-debated. I said, was it Rip? Was it Rashid? I mean, he was
Definitely
I
wasn't
never
Rip.
debated that. I said he was the best player on that team.
Yeah, you said that. You said that, and I kind of, said, okay, it's debatable, and I let that
It
go.
definitely wasn't Rip.
Wait up.
I can tell you that. It definitely wasn't Rip.
And this is before my time, but let me see how many All-Star appearances he had, and I was kind of like, this one right here. Where is it? Let me find him. This is before my time, and I don't want to disrespect him, but I don't know if I would consider.
Don't worry, he's not going to confine you.
Robert Parrish? This
He
is
was the
before.
star.
This is before all of our time, but Robert Parrish was never the best. I don't know if he was ever the best player on those Celtics teams. Not when he played with Bird, not when he played with
but he was more like the Ben Wallace on that team. He was the defensive star. He was the defensive star on that team.
Role player, and he made the All-Star team 9 times. 9.
He was that good.
And here's the thing:
he was that good.
But here's the thing: but Levon. But here's the thing: when he's
how many times did he make it before he was on Boston?
It doesn't say that, bro. It's just telling me how many times people made it.
But Levon, when he's making those teams,
I got another one.
No. But listen. Before you
say
jump,
my other one first?
Before you jump off, no. I want to give you his numbers.
I
want to give you his statistics.
Before you do that, I'll do it my list. Let me finish. Kyle,
I'm talking about Robert Parrish. That's why.
O'Neal, done.
Who?
Jermaine O'Neal, 6-time All-Star. 6.
Okay, and Jermaine O'Neal, when he's a star player when he's an All-Star.
No,
is he not?
Jermaine O'Neal is
Jermaine
O'Neal is the prototypical role player.
No, he's not. Jermaine O'Neal is like just like before we started recording.
Did you even remember Jermaine O'Neal was in All-Star?
Absolutely, I remember Jermaine O'Neal.
Yes, I did.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, I remember Jermaine O'Neal.
6 All-Star games for Jermaine O'Neal, bro.
He's 20 plus. He's 20. He's over 20 a game.
Stop it, bro.
During his best years.
Stop. But that's my point. Everybody can have good years. A role player can have good years and make an All-Star team. But he's still a role player.
6 of them?
He's still a role player. Yes.
That doesn't make him a role player. He had 6, dude.
Bro, it's the All-Star game. It depends on the time in which you play, the vote.
Dude.
And like I said, you got to go back to it. You had to pick a center. You had to pick a power forward. But Jermaine O'Neal was never one of the best players in the league during his time. Never.
He's 6. Whoa. No. See, not, and this is why I got to completely disagree with you. Because if you are an All NBA player, that means you're one of the top 15 players in the NBA, right?
No.
If you are All NBA, you're not one of the top 15 players in the NBA?
I said no because I don't know if that's true or not.
Or
there's only 3 All NBA teams, so that's the point Malik's trying to make.
He's a 3-time All NBA player. So if you're telling me, and during those three years, he's 19 and 10, he's 20 and 10, and he's 20 and 10. He's 20 and 10. The guy at his best, like his best year is 2005. He's an All-Star. He's 24 and 9 boards.
All right. Okay, since we're doing this next, Tom Chambers.
That guy's a role player.
Yep, 4-time All-Star.
I'd like to point out.
I'd like to point out that
Robert Parrish had to guard Kareem, and he was
Bill
averaging
Laimbeer.
double.
Bill Laimbeer was not was Bill Laimbeer a role player?
Listen to what I'm saying. Robert Parrish averaged a double every year he made the All-Star game.
Robert Parrish is a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. But he was a Hall of Fame level Hall of Famer.
He scored 18,000 points.
As Al Horford. They
75,
look,
one of the top 75 of all time.
Bill Laimbeer, 4-time All-Star, was never the man on those Piston teams. Ultimate role player. All he did was beat people up and grab boards. Making an All-Star team does not,
you don't even remember that dude's stats. You don't even know what he did. You don't even remember him.
Bill Laimbeer?
Do you?
Yes.
Bill Laimbeer was a role player.
Bill Laimbeer is 17 and 12 when he's an All-Star. He's 17 and 12. He's 17 and 12, 17 and 13, 16 and 13. This dude was a monster.
His career average is 12-9 and 9.7 rebounds.
What was Bill Laimbeer then? If he's not a role player, what was it? Describe his game. Describe it. What was he?
But wait.
I gave you what my definition of a role player is. A role player is a player,
and everybody played dirty like that back then.
They get their points. They get their production by playing a role. They do not have plays designed for them to score or carry the team. Basketball is centered around scoring. That is what it's around. You design plays to score baskets. You do not design plays for maybe Tom Chambers, because he was a six man, he could score buckets. But the Lambeers, the Jermaine O'Neals, the Robert Parishes, there were other players on those teams that had action flowing through them. That
I
is
think
what
you're
I'm
separating
talking
superstar from star, but that's all right.
No, a superstar is a whole nother level of star or whatever you want to call it. But a role player is that. They play a role. That is how they get their stats, their rebounds, their points. Bill Laimbeer was not having any action or any plays run for him. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars were not deferring to Bill Laimbeer when they were on the court. That makes them role
They were double
players.
teamed. They would pass it to him, I assume.
Okay.
In the beginning of Bill, like this is what I'm trying to get at.
Jermaine O'Neal, the Pacers drafted Jermaine O'Neal out of high school.
Correct.
Yes.
Actually, the Blazers
Reggie Miller
did.
was on that team.
Yes.
Wasn't Detlef Schrempf and Reggie Miller on that team? Was that the Reggie Detlef Schrempf years?
In the early 2000s, Jermaine O'Neal was the best player on that team. This is when Reggie Miller was no longer the best player on the team.
Let me
He was drafted by Portland in '96, and then he ended up getting traded to Indiana.
Jermaine O'Neal was the best.
Very forgettable.
No, that's not true.
He was what? Just because you forgot doesn't mean everybody else did.
You're bugging talking about Jermaine O'Neal.
I didn't remember Jermaine O'Neal until I mentioned his name.
You throw it out Jermaine O'Neal like he's just some trash bum that had like
let me look
good
up Jermaine
season. Like that's ridiculous.
Let me look up Jermaine O'Neal's stats,
because now when he's traded,
O'Neal.
When he was drafted by Portland, when he gets traded to Indiana, he literally took off.
Oh my God! Hold up.
Took off.
Hold up. Career stats.
You were disrespectful.
Jermaine O'Neal played forever. Where's his ending stats?
The first 4 years, he didn't really play.
I wonder why. He's not really playing in Portland.
Because he was on Portland when they were really
he was drafted out of high. No, he was drafted out of high school.
He was drafted out of high school.
He was drafted directly out of high school. Didn't play much in Portland. Gets literally immediately the year that he gets traded to Indiana. His first year in Indiana, he's 13 and 10.
Malik.
Then he goes 19, 20, 20, 24, 20, 19, 13.
Malik. His career, he averaged 13.7 boards.
That's because his beginning of his career and the end of his career, he didn't have good years. But in that middle, dude, that middle chunk of his career, the dude he's a multiple time All-Star. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, we already been through this. I'm not using that as a
3-time All-NBA. Like this is why it bugs me out so much because I'm
everybody's a star.
I'm not saying that, but I'm never saying that. You've never heard me say
point.
Everybody's
I want to ask my Boston question because
Jermaine O'Neal has more blocks in his career.
Looking at this Boston team right now, who are the role players? Because obviously nobody is. Everybody since Horford.
They have two star players. They have two star players. Everybody else on this team is a role player. They have two star players.
So Tatum.
Everybody else plays.
Brown is not a superstar.
Tatum and Brown.
So if you want
to say one is a superstar, one is a star. Tatum is a superstar. Brown is a star.
Okay.
They have two star players.
Okay.
Everybody else is a role player, but they are a high.
Also, Al Horford is now a role player. No, fuck that high level shit. We're not doing that. You either role player.
Go ahead. But I'm just saying that's what makes the team. That's what takes the team from.
We're not doing that high level. That's
middle of the road to being a championship.
Are they role players or are they not? That's it.
No, they are.
At this point in his career, yes, he's a role player.
I'm just validating that when you have high level role players, you become a champion, which is what they are.
Well, championships elevate everything, obviously. What about Derek White? Is he a role player?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's not a star.
All right. So what are we arguing about? Because it looks like we agree. Horford is a role player.
Right now, no, you said.
Oh my God.
Right now, today. Al Horford is a role player.
He's always been a role player.
His entire career, no. His entire career, he was not. There were definitely.
Career, he's been a role player.
No.
For any negative messages you want to send us, please find us at the Uptown Parlay.
You recorded this?
Yes.
Yeah. Find us at the Uptown Parlay.
I just want to say,
Twitter and at Threads.
It only seems like I disrespect people when these two start.
And direct your disrespect towards Levon. That's Levon.
You
can be really good and still be a role player. You can still be really good. Sure. I didn't say Horford wasn't really good. I didn't say Bill Laimbeer is not really good in the Hall of Famer. But they're still role players.
I said a star. This is what I said. I said a star.
We are going to talk about the. Go ahead, Blake. Sorry.
When these guys make.
Yeah, making an all-star team doesn't relieve your role player status. You can be a role player and make all-star team.
All those guys you named were memorable players. You just don't remember Tom Chambers because he played mostly in the 80s.
You only remember Jermaine O'Neal and Chambers when I mentioned them. That was it. They're very forgettable.
I very much know who Jermaine O'Neal is. I remember people wearing.
I know you remember, but you didn't know who he was before I mentioned his name because he's forgettable.
Yes, I did.
He's forgettable.
Yes, he's not forgettable.
You know, you don't forget. You don't
just on the Malice and the Palace alone, I don't
forget Clyde Drexler and Cliff Robinson.
Reggie Miller's overrated. Cliff Robinson is your definition of a role player.
Yeah, he might.
He's a guy who contributed. He contributed at a high level, scored 15 points a game.
Yeah,
got a couple
Cliff
blocks
is a role player too. Truly, you're right.
What I really know him for is just he's Spliffy Robinson. That's what I remember. And he's from Buffalo. I found that out later on. I had no idea where the hell he was from. And they were all proud of him. And I was like, why? He's from here. Now, the teams making it to the NBA this year, I dropped them into the chat. I dropped that little graphic in there so y'all can see. I like the Knicks matchup, first of all.
I don't.
Playing Detroit. I think they're going to try hard, but the Knicks will be able to wear them down easy. You don't like it, Malik. Why?
I don't like that matchup at all.
Why?
First off, the Knicks have the Knicks beaten Detroit this year?
I believe it's 2-2.
No, they haven't played that many times. It might be 2-1, but Detroit has beaten us twice already.
Detroit, and if you watch those games, Detroit has not. It wasn't like they didn't squeak the games out by a point here or there. They were decided wins. The other reason why I don't like this matchup is because, well, one, we don't know what Jalen Brunson's status is going to be. It's already March. He's not going to play for the next couple of weeks. He's going to be reevaluated. What condition is he going to be in, from a basketball perspective to be ready to go out there. And if you don't have, a healthy Jalen Brunson, even if he's playing, like you need a healthy Jalen Brunson to counteract what Cade Cunningham's going to bring. So then you're looking at Cat and the rest of the roster. And I don't think that the Detroit Pistons roster is just a bunch of bad players. This is a good team that's been good for the better part of the season. They're coached well, and they're not going to be a slouch. I'm not saying that the Knicks don't win the series. If I had to pick it, I would say, Knicks in 6, and I could see this going the full run, especially if Brunson's not 100%. Brunson's 100%. I think it's an easier series, but we don't know what Brunson is at this point.
That's fair. The Knicks have one more game against them. They're 1-2 right now. First time the Knicks played them in November, they beat them 128-98. The last two games, Detroit beat them by 9 and then by 5. The most recent one in January.
Okay.
Right before the All-Star break. So yeah, you are correct. They are up 2-1 on the Knicks. The next game is in Detroit, April 10th, which might decide some seeding. Literally one of the last 3 games of the year.
Yeah. And if you look at that Pistons roster, it's not. It's not.
Well, it's like a bunch of veterans and like a couple of young.
It's a bunch of vets and some quality, young, talented players. It's not like 3 years ago OKC team where everybody was like 20 years old. It's not. It's not that squad. So
I think I'm gonna lose that bet on San Antonio. I don't think that's coming in for me.
I told you were going to lose that bet when you made it, sir. I don't know why you made that bet in the first place.
I don't know, but yeah. Damn, Wemby had to go and get hurt. Levon, you had a chance to look at that graphic from the group chat.
Yeah, about the rundown, what we discussed?
The discussion and also the playoff matchup.
Yeah, so I saw what the rundown was. Detroit is scary. Like you guys said, you know what? Huh?
You really think so? Because right now it's Knicks, Detroit, and Pacers and Bucks. That we know.
The Knicks. 5, 3, 6. The Knicks don't want to see out of those 3 teams. I don't think the Bucks are a possibility. If the Bucks are a possibility, I think the Bucks are the best matchup the Knicks can hope for.
Really? You're not scared of Giannis?
I'll explain if given a chance.
Please do. Please do.
But the Knicks play Milwaukee well. They match up very well against the Bucks. I don't know if they played the Bucks since the Bucks got Kyle Kuzma though. But the Knicks match up well to me against the Bucks, better than Detroit, who, when I look at them, I think of the Redskins. You got a young team with a young core.
The who?
It's it's always going to be the Redskins, Commanders, whatever, man.
The Commanders. Okay.
You got a young team with a young core, surrounded by some seasoned vets who got some skins on the wall, and that's dangerous when you go up against a team that is just starting to turn things around because they're playing with house money at this point. They weren't expecting to be here, so whatever they do is bonus, baby. And the Knicks are not that. They're here. This is their window. Detroit could honestly say that their window hasn't even opened yet. If anything, it's just getting cracked open. So yeah, that's scary. Plus, they have confidence because they've already beaten us twice this year. So they know they can beat us if they have to. They got very little to lose in a situation like that. And that scares me more than a Milwaukee team whose window's closing. The Knicks have had recent success against, or a Pacers team where it would kind of be revenge. And I think the Knicks kind of built their team to go up against the Pacers, the Celtics, the Bucks. But a team like Detroit is like a surprise, kind of like Cleveland is a surprise this year, kind of like OKC. But to Malik's point, to your point, if Brunson is even less than 100%, the Knicks probably won't even get past Detroit. The way they play basketball, if he's not totally himself coming back, the Knicks will probably get bounced in the first round. No matter
you
who
really believe that?
Yeah, because the way they play unless they get some style of basketball now where they actually utilize the entire team and feed whoever's feeling it that day, like true team basketball. Because right now the Knicks are top heavy and they play like it. It's Brunson and Clutch. It's Brunson first, Cat second. Josh Hart gets his role player baskets. His putbacks, his fast break buckets. Mikal Bridges sneaks a bucket every once in a while. The bench is damn near invincible most of the time. I mean, who's coming off the bench providing any consistent punch for us? The Deuce, you know. This I don't know. The Knicks have to get hot to really make it interesting. They got to play their best basketball right now going into the playoffs. But the way they play right now, like how they lost to the Lakers, they're not going to get past the second round for sure.
They didn't lose that badly to the Lakers.
It's the way they lost. It's the
With
way
Brunson
they lost.
Getting hurt?
The way Brunson taking it all on his shoulders and forgetting there was 4 other dudes out there. It's how he got hurt, for one.
Yeah,
that's how he got hurt because he was taking every shot. He was dribbling the air out of the basketball. Yeah. Instead of remembering, hey, Cat's over there, Mikal's over there, this and that. Instead of remembering that, I don't know what.
Instead of playing team ball,
playing that hero ball,
Well, everybody wants to be Kobe, Everybody wants to be the guy. To win.
Though that day in the league,
I mean, it's also not for nothing. It's also the way that Tibbs has coached this team, right? They don't, and it's the way Tibbs has seemingly coached the vast majority of his teams. I mean, think of the Derrick Rose teams in Chicago. Those were some very good teams with some very good rosters that ran almost exclusively through their point guard. Now, granted, their point guard was an MVP, but everything ran through him. When he got hurt, that team was never considered anything more than a first or second round exit type of team, really good in the regular season. This Knick team, I think Levon is 100% right. If this team isn't playing, if Jalen Brunson is not playing and playing the best version of himself, seeing this team get beyond the first round and make any real noise in the second round will require something that we've never actually seen from this team this season, which is consistent effort, like consistent elevated play from multiple people who have not done it on a consistent level without Jalen Brunson being, the head of the snake. You're talking about Josh Hart consistently scoring upwards of 17, 18 points a night and doing all of the other things that he needs to do. You're talking about Deuce McBride, not having a night where he scores 24 and then a night where he scores 7. Like, he has to score 15. He has to average 14, 15 points a night off of the bench. You're talking about Mikal
Well,
Bridges,
if I
who's been
could,
up and down. You're talking about OG, who he's averaged 16 across the thing, but we've seen OG have nights where he scored 30. We've seen OG have nights where he scored 12. It would require a full team effort, which it always does when your team is down their number one star.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna find out. I think everybody,
That's fair.
Everybody has their role. I know my team very well because I watch them, so I can speak intimately to what it looks like when they're playing their best, or what they have to do. And Brunson has to score, but he has to find people. He has to make sure that Josh stays aggressive, shoots when he's open. They have
That's
to
why
make
that.
sure.
That's why. Sorry to interrupt. But that's why that game felt so much like a playoff game because it felt very much one on one and very half court because they kept going to each side of the court, bucket for bucket, and Brunson was keeping them in there.
But
The
that's the
Knicks shouldn't.
thing.
It shouldn't have been that close because the Knicks only had 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
And
LA was
Luka.
doing team ball. Like there was different. It
Not
wasn't
really. It
just
was. It was.
Doncic
It
and
was Luka
LeBron.
going off. It was
No,
Luka
no,
going
no,
off.
no,
no,
it
no,
wasn't.
no,
It
no.
was
It
The
Gabe
was
last
Vincent
5
hitting
minutes of that
threes
game
Gabe.
was
for
all
you.
Yeah,
Luka.
Gabe
It
Vincent
was
hit like
it was
huge.
LeBron with a wide open three from the corner. Like
Yeah,
it was the Knicks
it was
trying
different
to it was
cats.
the Knicks and Jalen. It was Jalen Brunson trying to take down the Lakers by himself,
Yeah, that's what it
and
was,
and
and it made me mad.
and Cat not being the assertive, aggressive player that he has been. Him basically shrinking against LeBron, who's like 4 inches shorter than him, probably the same size as him, but like a legitimately
Well,
4 inches shorter than him.
he got called for that cheap foul at the end where they said he pushed him in the back, but I didn't see it.
That was
So
a frustrating game. The Golden State
It
game
was.
frustrating as well. It's just frustrating because I don't know. It's like when we play these teams, these high profile teams and high profile prime time games, they just don't play the way they should to win the game. There's no reason to be forgetting your teammates in crunch time like that and just dribbling the air out of the basketball. I mean, there's no reason for that. You got
You can
Bridges.
critique in one game, but I hear you. There
No, I
because he's
watched
going to
him
be
do
out
it.
for the next couple of weeks. I think
I've
it's going to
watched
help
him do it, man. I've watched him do it plenty of times.
because they're going to have to learn how to play without him.
And
And I
that's what they're
agree.
doing. In the last game they played against Sacramento, it was a great team win. You got to see
Yes, and
other guys do stuff. You got to see OG who's
yeah,
starting to create more for his, for himself, create his own shot. It still looks a little clunky, but he can dribble and get to the cup and and put something up and give you some points, play some defense. Josh shooting the ball, with some confidence without hesitating, so they don't sag off him. Deuce went 5 for 5 in that game from downtown. I mean, you got
yeah,
team,
true.
players are capable, man. But he's the point guard. He's got to
right.
facilitate.
The question is, do what we see from them today, to your point, Ace, what we see from them without Jalen Brunson, do we still get that same play from them when Jalen Brunson returns? And the evidence points
Mm,
to no. But the main thing is
you're right.
there was a
That does
stat
make more sense.
there was a stat that came out earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. You guys got to find. If I can find it, I'll put it in our chat. You guys got to see what Karl Anthony Towns' numbers are against the best teams in the NBA.
Mm.
Against everybody else, he's like 14 points lower in terms of his points per game. Every statistic is lower against the best teams in the NBA.
By
Which,
record, the top 6 teams.
yeah. So
So
the
Celtics, Cavs,
OKC,
Nuggets,
Celtics, Cavs, Nuggets. He is
and
woefully.
Lakers.
He's not even like to Levon's point. He goes from a star player to a role player, and now you've got one star in Jalen Brunson and a bunch of role players, and one of which is being depended upon as a star.
We'll have to key
I
in on
have
that
more
the next
confidence
time
in.
plays.
I got more confidence in him in the East than I do if the Knicks make it to the finals. Because if the Knicks make it to the finals, everybody he's going to be playing against, I believe, will be taller than him. Because to me, I don't see any team touching OKC.
I think
As
he
good as the
played.
Lakers are, I don't see the Lakers getting past OKC. I don't even know if Denver can get by them, but I will look forward to that in the Western Conference Finals, to be honest. Go ahead, Levon.
What other teams? We were talking about all of the teams making a push, right?
Yeah. Whoever's actually in the playoffs, like even in the play-in teams, which Atlanta snuck in there somehow, amazingly.
I think you got
And
to be concerned about the Lakers when LeBron comes back, and you got to be concerned about Golden State because that Jimmy Butler trade.
well, they've got to play each other in the first round now.
I saw that. I did, and that's lucky for everybody else because then one will knock the other out. Those are two dangerous teams, just based on who's on those teams. The Lakers are more top heavy, obviously. They'll go as far as Luka and LeBron can take them, but that's pretty far considering who those two players are. Luka just came from the finals last year, and LeBron has been known to take his team there by himself with nothing around him. But
Yeah, but they can pick on him with Curry.
Pick on who?
Luka, because he's got to guard somebody, and it's either going
Yeah,
to be him
that's up.
or it's
That's
going to
up
be
to the.
Jimmy.
Yeah,
You can't switch off both of them.
I don't know if Jimmy's the pick on type. I don't know if he's the pick on type. Jimmy's got an all around 2-way type game, but it's not like he's an assassin like Tatum and Brown destroyed
He put up
Luka.
50. He put up 50 on 2 years ago. He put up 50 on
He put up
Milwaukee and
50.
took the Heat to the finals. Yeah, he put up 50 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean you could do that. Putting up 50, it's a good number, but I wouldn't consider him an assassin like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a hunter, somebody who can hunt matchups and exploit it. Jimmy is a savvy, crafty player on both sides of the ball. He knows how to get buckets, but he's not a flamethrower like Steph. He's not unguardable like LeBron or Luka. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
You think Luka's unguardable?
I think Luka is unguardable. I mean, it's muscle memory. Like he'll put the ball up from somewhere and he doesn't have to look or aim. It's muscle memory. He can score. Like Steph is like that. It's muscle memory. The way they shoot, how they finish around the basket. There's no aiming involved. It's just they know angles. They know how to release it. That's in his game. He's a natural scorer. So yeah. I don't know. Is that a hot take?
No. It's not a hot take. It's just, I don't know. After what he's done with Miami, I kind of feel like it allows Golden State to get easy buckets for Steph because now you can't really just focus on him because you have another guy on the court who can kill you.
For sure.
So with him going up against the Lakers, Jared Vanderbilt's got to focus on somebody. So they can't exactly put, Gabe Vincent on Steph and be like, this is going to work out for us well.
I don't know the Lakers well enough to know who would try to guard Steph. I'm not sure who they would give that assignment. Probably Reeves, maybe? I don't know.
They're going to give it to a 6'7" shooting guard to guard Steph.
I mean, Bridges was guarding him. Bridges is only an inch shorter than that. Means your best defender is your best defender. It's wingspan. Steph isn't a small guy. He's 6'3", decent wingspan. You got to put somebody, who can chase him and disrupt that shot. To some extent, but Steph's talent is that truly when he shoots, I think it's muscle memory. It's no aim in that. Some players
he just knows where the basket is.
He just knows how to shoot and how to release it. He's shooting the ball so quick like he does. That's not aiming, man. That's reflex muscle memory. Those half court shots. I don't think Steph has to aim to shoot.
Like I always told y'all in high school, the basket's not moving. So if you just remember where it is, you can
basket's not moving. The lines on the court ain't moving.
Yeah.
Trajectory is trajectory.
Malik, what you looking at so deeply? In the corner there.
I'm getting ready to watch the Knicks in Portland.
Yeah, I gotta follow it online. It sucks. I'm sitting here watching Denver and Minnesota.
Same. I'm watching Denver and Minnesota.
Minnesota could be a dangerous team. They get healthy and they get hot. They got those type of players. They could be.
They're in the play-in right now against the Clippers. So I have less faith in them because they've been slipping for past 3 weeks, and now Julius Randle just got healthy. It doesn't seem to be helping.
Yeah. You always got. It's like you said with Miami, like how Miami got hot that year, and the league. That's how it's built. Yeah. Like once you get in, it's a new season. It's a clean slate, and Minnesota has the pieces where if they put it together at the right time, they'd be a real tough out. They'd be a real hard out for somebody.
So realistically, who do you have in the conference finals?
I like Denver. I think Denver has the best player in the league. and they're putting it together at the right time. They done climbed all the way up to what? What are they, 2 now? Are they 2?
Yes, they're in the 2 seeds.
So they climbed all the way up to 2, nice and quiet. Not a lot of noise. People still talking about the Clevelands, the OKCs, the Bostons, and here's Denver number 2. I think Denver in the conference finals against OKC, which is basically 1 and 2. So it's no hot takes there, but yeah, I like that odds. Especially if Golden State and LA knock each other off.
Okay.
I think OKC has the looking at the standings right now. OKC has the easiest path to getting to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think either of the teams in the play-in would give them. Minnesota might give them a bit of a challenge, but if they wound up being the 8th seed, but the Clippers, the Kings, the Mavericks, I don't necessarily think much about either of those teams against OKC. I think they're viable playoff teams, but not against OKC. And then they would have the winner of the 4-5, which is Memphis and Houston. Both really interesting teams, but both relatively inconsistent. So I would say OKC's coming out of there. I think I would pick the Lakers to beat Denver, because even when the Lakers, because even when the Lakers are, we're playing.
Denver owns the Lakers recently,
right, with AD.
Yeah, but that was a different team.
When it was Lakers and AD,
yeah,
they've owned them. But
I think playoff. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry, cut you off.
But I just think that Luka. See, because to me it comes down to the second star, right? To me, Luka and Jokic, they probably cancel themselves out in terms of statistics and impact, right?
Yeah.
And then you're looking at LeBron and Jamal Murray. Now, I'm not saying that Jamal Murray, when he gets hot, he's incredible, and he can absolutely
cooking in the bubble.
Get nuclear, which definitely plays in their favor. But LeBron is still an incredible player on the floor, and I think he impacts the game more than just a scorer on multiple different fronts, and the amount of freedom that he now seems to have on the floor with Luka, doing his thing with the ball on the other side. He's become a better defender. He's become a better rebounder. He's become a better, all around player, and he's still averaging 25, 8 and 7. So that's where I would say, like, 1 versus 1. I think that they finally have, like, that was where the area the issue was for me, when it was AD and LeBron. AD would get cooked by Joker, and that would be the difference. I don't think that Joker cooks Luka, even though they're not going to defend each other.
They're not going to defend each other.
I think they cancel each other out, is what I'm saying.
I think they
cancel each other out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have nobody to guard Jokic now.
And Denver doesn't have anybody to guard Luka. So that's what I'm. This is
what
I'm saying.
Well, they could put Westbrook on him. They could put Westbrook on him. That's crazy.
Westbrook is not going to defend Luka Doncic.
Who's he going to defend?
He's not going to defend him well. He's going to stand in front of him.
I mean, Malik is going to stand in front of him. Nobody's going to defend Luka well.
Him and Christian.
You got somebody
exactly.
Yeah, Braun, Westbrook. You got Porter Jr. You could put bodies in front of Luka to slow him down.
And none of them are going to matter, because he's going to cook all of them.
And Joker is going to cook whoever, and he is.
Which is why I said they're going to cancel each other out.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying they're going to cancel each other out. These are to both of your points. These are two unguardable stars when they're at their best. If they're both playing their best basketball, there's no guarding either one of them. So I cancel them out, because they're going to be unguardable for their respective teams. This is why I go to this next level, and I go LeBron James versus Jamal Murray. And I said, who are you taking in that matchup? Or who are you taking in terms of impact, how they're going to impact their team? Jamal Murray is a scorer, and if he's scoring 25 in a game, if he's scoring 25 a night, and he's hitting dagger threes, and he's just light it up, and he's going to the free throw line, he's making shit difficult for everybody on the squad, that's great. That's probably the way he impacts the team. LeBron, he gets other guys involved. He's going to rebound. He's going to defend. He's going to still score 24 because that's still what he's going to get on a nightly basis. And he's going to do a whole bunch of other things that get guys like Gabe Vincent, guys like, you know, Jackson Hayes, and these guys who you don't know until they, score 9 against you. And then you
You want
got
to talk
Austin
about a
Reeves,
role
and
player? Yeah, that's Jackson Hayes.
Austin Reeves is potentially, you know, on a bad team. Austin Reeves is 20 points a game. On a bad team, he's over 20 a night. He's Tyler Hero on a bad team, but on a good team, he's still, a very very capable player who on any given night can give you 20 plus.
You mean
So
Tyler Hero, the face of the Miami Heat? Tyler Hero?
the current face of Miami Heat. If you put Austin Reeves on any other team and he's not playing with LeBron James or Luca, he's the best player on his team.
That's fair. Okay.
So that's the whole long-winded way of saying OKC Lakers.
It was very long-winded. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well,
Good
y'all
answer.
argued with it, so as you normally do.
And I did argue too much with that. I think the Lakers are going to get knocked out by Golden State in the first round. I don't know why I'm being such a hater, but I think that Luca and LeBron aren't fully healthy, and this year's not going to be there. If because he already has like a groin injury, so I don't know how bad that is, and he already has a permanent foot issue. But Luca has a calf strain. They've had a really good run to get to this point. So let's say they maintain a 3 seed. I think Golden State can take them out. I really do. And then after that, I don't know if they reseed, but I just have a feeling Memphis is going to disappoint me. It's probably going to be OKC and Denver because I can't see Golden State getting past Denver. Curry would have to have an incredible series, and Jokic would. I don't even see them being able to put Draymond on it. That would just be insane. And every time Denver's played them, they kind of crush them. I think except for one game. In the East, I do not want to see the Celtics get there, but I don't know if the Knicks are going to have enough to beat them. But I'm confident it's going to be Cleveland versus. I'll take Cleveland versus the Knicks. Why not? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Cleveland and New York. I can see the look in your face. I'm like, that's all right. I believe.
No, the only reason that would mean the Knicks
What?
would have to beat Boston.
Correct.
Yeah, in that
As it
second
stands.
round series.
Yeah. Or Milwaukee can upset Cleveland because I don't see the Pacers doing anything. Sorry to both of you fans in Indiana who listen to this, but
I don't see Milwaukee beating Cleveland.
you don't. You don't think
No,
Dame time can happen again?
I think it can. I don't think it
Because
will.
he made OKC rebuild their entire franchise with that one deep three.
I don't
So he
think it.
might be
I
able
don't
to
think
do
it
it to
will.
Cleveland. All right.
I don't think it will.
Because this is it for them. They don't win now. Somebody's got to get traded. Giannis is going to look to leave. He's talking about, I might go to New York. I might go somewhere else. Who knows? And if he wants to go somewhere, we can trade Cat again. Next thing you know, Cat will be in Milwaukee.
No,
Make the contracts work. I'm serious. To get Giannis, I would trade him in a heartbeat.
they already traded. I mean, Milwaukee already traded Middleton. Brooke
Well, yeah,
Lopez
for
is on his
Kuzma, which is why I
Brooke
think they're
Lopez is on his
better because
last day.
Kuzma can
But
defend. Lopez is
like
30,
like
is a sneaky 35 years old.
like Milwaukee. I heard this somewhere recently. Milwaukee is like the fans in Milwaukee and the team. They're like excited about the return of Bobby Portis. Like let's keep it honest here. Like
Oh,
they're
he
excited
got
about
busted for roids, right?
right, and
Yeah,
he's been out for like 20 games,
performance
and he'll be back for the
enhancers.
playoffs. So they're like excited for that. That's what I'm saying. Like this, he doesn't he. Milwaukee is who they are. They're not getting any better. They're not elevating their level of play because they're missing some key play. And everybody on that team is healthy. They're a healthy team right now. Um,
Everyone.
I'm not saying like they don't have any injuries. I'm just saying like
Uh-huh.
their
Both
main players are
starters, yeah.
healthy and they're a fourth
Mhm.
seed and they're not. The Knicks, they're probably not catching the Knicks, and the Knicks ain't gonna have Brunson for the next 2 weeks, and they're probably still not catching the Knicks.
That's right, because we're up 4 games on him.
So I don't see them as a true threat unless Giannis goes MVP level Giannis and
He's always capable of that. It's just him and
Cleveland
Dame.
can't
It's like you can't.
counteract that because Donovan Mitchell is not good enough, or Darius Garland or Evan Mobley just kind of fade.
It's
I'm
all
not saying it
possible.
couldn't happen. I just wouldn't bet it.
It seems unlikely, but let me get y'all picks for the Eastern Conference. I don't think y'all gave it.
Go ahead, Levon.
Pick for the finals,
Eastern
Eastern Conference.
Conference, yeah.
The ECF, Eastern Conference
Pick for the
Finals, which will
ECF.
be the last one uh, by TNT.
Oh man, picks for the ECF. Don't want to pick Boston. Totally don't respect how they play basketball at all. I don't. So I'm picking. Yeah, I mean, I use my head most of the time. I'm gonna go with my heart and say Knicks Cleveland. Knicks
I like
Cleveland.
that answer. I like that.
This is a betting show, and I would say
Well, I don't.
I would
I'm on the betting show, but you guys know I don't bet, and this is
I
why,
I know
because I
what I'm
can't
saying.
really take my heart out of it.
It's well, I understand that. I'm saying it's a betting
Got to
show.
take some long
So
shots.
if you're going to have, that's why I said if you're going to take a long shot, it would be in the East, just because of the way that it's everything below the 2 seed
Mm.
um is a kind of a mixed bag. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna go full crazy on this, and I'll go. I'll go Knicks Bucks. Let's go Knicks Bucks. Let's see the top two seeds get bounced by the Knicks and the Bucks, two very flawed teams, and we have a really great ECF between two teams you know who have
If
really
that
high
happens,
highs and can have really low lows, and will just score 150. The games will be 150 to 147
Hmm.
on a nightly basis. It'll be a shitload of fun.
that would be like if the San Diego Padres went to the World Series this year against the Dodgers. I mean, if they beat the Dodgers to go to the World Series, that would be insane. You know what? I like that though. I like that. Giannis just drops 50 a night. Let's take them all away. Blows up Cleveland. That is crazy. He's just getting one-handed putbacks off of easy tip dunks. This is why this guy always wins. Jokic is just unstoppable. I can't jump over a telephone book. I mean, he's always there at the rim. That's why Minnesota's so sorry, because Gobert can't do nothing. Sorry for the side commentary in this game, but he is just.
Side commentary.
I'm just playing the Bucks.
Oh, dang,
Kings are
y'all got send Malik away, and he needs to make his pick. Oh, okay, Malik came back out of his bed. He moved back
Yeah, the
up.
Lakers are the Lakers are
He's
playing the
like, okay, we
Bucks.
finally get onto a better subject now, and I can talk about it.
Thank you.
We can end this
The
show.
Bucks are at home and they're favored by 5.5. They're expected to win. The Kings are at home and they're favored by 6.5 over. The Warriors are favored by 6.5 over the Kings. Both of those games are going to be on TNT. Technically, the Magic are still in the playoffs, allegedly, but they are fading away. So I'm not going to really. Who cares? They're in eighth place. They're playing a pretty trash team, so I expect them to. The Magic are playing the Pelicans, but they're in New Orleans. The Nets are playing the Bulls, which has effect on the play. Also, who cares? So, Malik, I'm going to start with you. Lakers at Bucks. Who do you have winning? Spread is 5.5. Over under 224.
The Lakers. I watched that game and they lost to Brooklyn. It was kind of ridiculous. I think I chalked that up to first game without LeBron, Luca trying to figure out how to play with this team without being able to lean on LeBron and his um, and his brilliance on the floor and his ability to get everybody involved and kind of orchestrate things and let Luca be just be the best version of himself. Um, I think this the defense that they played. And I think the defense that they played um, and Luca getting more comfortable being in that alpha dog role, because he has to be, leads me to believe that the Lakers are the better team and should win the game. And if they don't win the game, they'll at least cover. So I'll take the Lakers, and I don't know what the over under is, but I'll take the Lakers in the under because I think it's a better
225 is the
defensive
over
game.
under.
Yeah, I think it's a better defensive game, and the Lakers are able to pull out a victory on the road.
Okay. Levon, try to keep it under a half hour.
I like the Lakers. I agree with everything Malik said for a change.
And
Wow.
who do you gonna take?
Since I'm copying homework and stuff like that here, since I don't know nothing about the NBA, I'm going to go with the Lakers on this one. And I do like how the Lakers team is a little bit set up. You got Bronny somewhere there and cheerleading. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Lakers on this one. And I'm going to take was the over. Yeah, quite NBA people like to shoot a lot, so I'm going to go with the over.
I'm also going to take the over, and I'm going to be going with the Milwaukee Bucks since they're at home. I think they're going to cover. LeBron's still dealing with an injury, so he is not expected to play, I don't believe. And if he is playing, he will be limited because he has a groin injury. That kind of affects how you run. So
he's definitely out. He's not coming back for 2 weeks.
Oh well, then good. I'm definitely taking the Bucks. I don't see how they're going to beat them with Giannis and Dame both playing.
Are you sure there's a real injury? Because every time I see him getting hurt or whatever, he's like flopping all over the place.
He's really not playing. He really must have pulled his groin muscle. So yeah, it says he's out for
I
2
thought he
weeks.
pulled his work comp. He's trying to get his work comp in.
You are ridiculous. We're moving on to the next game, which is the Sacramento Kings at the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are favored by 6.5. Malik, who do you got?
I watched that when the Kings played 2 nights ago. When the Knicks went into Sacramento and beat the brakes off of them by 29. The Kings traded away arguably their best player in De'Aaron Fox, and I believe that Domantas Sabonis is still very well maybe out. So he's probably their best player now, even though they do have Zach LaVine and they do have DeMar DeRozan. But I think this is pretty easily, on the side of the Warriors. Warriors are healthier coming into this game. Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's doing well. The team is 9-1, 10-1, something like that. Since
Yes.
the Jimmy Butler trade, they've been pretty much unstoppable. And unstoppable even when they don't play well. And I think this is a game where maybe they don't play the best, but they're able to pull this game out and win. And if it's anything like the last time they played Sacramento, which was about 3 weeks ago, they played in Sacramento and Golden State won that game 132-108. That was post trade as well. So to me, I think this is wash, rinse, repeat. Same thing happens. Golden State wins a pretty easy one.
Levon, who do you got? And just so you know, Sabonis is listed as questionable with a hamstring. He went through practice today or yesterday, so it's possible he could play tomorrow.
I got the Warriors in this game. Sacramento doesn't play any defense.
All right, fair enough. And
Dang, LeBron kept it under 10 minutes. Dang, we just going to agree with Malik all day? Okay, well, I'm just going to go with the Warriors too then. Everybody should just listen to what Malik says and call it a day. It's going to be, Ace is just going to pick the opposite.
you know why I'm going to pick the opposite? I'll explain why. Because if Sabonis plays, they actually have a advantage here. Because Kevon Looney isn't exactly a defensive stalwart, and they give him a lot of problems. Also, they have two guys from the mid range who can hurt them in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. And they've replaced De'Aaron Fox with Malik Monk at the point, and it's working pretty well. So yes, they did trade him, but it was worth it because the team actually improved. And they have guys who want to be there.
Well, the reason why I picked it the same thing as Malik picked, because
And they're
basically I
getting
don't really know
points.
nothing. And man, they're still trying to figure out what the hell does the NBA still have this stupid ass play in.
Yeah, it's to gin up more ratings, which will work, as we discussed earlier. But that's why we brought you in for the football stuff. But no, legitimately, if
because I don't
Sabonis
talk about
plays, I think
basketball.
they
Let's
can cover.
put a peach ball through the basket. You know, I'm talking about the old woven basket back in the 1930s. That's how old I feel right now looking at this stuff.
But
Anyway,
if Sabonis don't play, I don't think they can cover. But if Sabonis plays, they can cover. The guy's averaging near a triple double for the season. He's playing great, so I think it'll be pretty good. And unfortunately for Denver fans, it doesn't look like your Nuggets are going to win tonight. That is it for us today. I'm going to start with Malik on the shout outs so we can get out of here quick. What you got?
Why me? You never start with me.
yeah, it's always me because I had the stupidest ones. Anyway, let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
anyway,
just came back too. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Zach Wilson because you guys kept on muffling it all. I was trying to make it as a joke, but anyway, shout out to Zach Wilson. You know, for sneaking back into AFC East. You know, for some reason, I think Tua is going to have a game or two off, and one of those games is going to be against the Jets at MetLife, and Zach Wilson's going to come in and tear it up. Shout outs to him. Shout outs to Aaron Rodgers. He's still mulling over the which team he's going to go with. It's not about the money to him. I'm reading this thing right now, so he's either going to pick out of the Steelers or the Giants. Is come down to those two. You know, he did okay, quite great things with the Jets as far as quite coming over and quite making those guys happy and stuff like that. And I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I was happy for the 2 years that he was here. No, I wasn't. I was happy before he came in. So shout outs to him on that one. I don't remember any other shout outs I wanted to do. No more shout outs. Oh yeah, shout outs to Aaron Glenn for getting Justin Fields, one of my favorite quarterbacks of that draft. Shout out to Justin Fields for actually coming here. I saw that picture with him in Dubai, just having a good old time and stuff like that before the free agency started. And I was hoping that he would show up with the Jets, and he did. So shout out to them. I'm not giving no credit to Darren Muji right now, the Jets GM, because that guy looks kind of lost in my opinion. So the jury's still out on my opinion on that guy. But anyway, that's my shout outs for the week. And I just, wait and bake thought about these things. I had nothing planned.
Right. Thank you for that. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks for playing a close game with the Portland Trailblazers on the West Coast tour. Clearly, they were partying after the win the other day, which is why they looked so dreadful against the Trailblazers. Shout out to the Washington Wizards. I'm sorry, no, the Washington Bullets, since we're going by old school names for only the DC teams. Shout out to the Washington Bullets, who decided to start trying to win games at the end of the season because apparently they don't want Cooper Flag on their team, so they want to lower their odds to get him the first overall pick. Shout out to whoever made Touch of Gold, that and was it that the documentary about the Olympics in Paris and the basketball games out there. That was amazing. Actually gained a little bit of respect for Nicholas Batum, who seemed like a maniac yelling at everybody in French. And for KD talking about, continuity, that's what y'all need. Is continuity going to help y'all when y'all guarding staff? That was pretty cool. I really appreciated that. And it made me relive all those moments and just the U.S. just beating the brakes off of in France in Paris, just like that. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, shout out to my Bears for finally getting some offensive linemen and spending some money. And shout out to Khalil Mack for securing the bag once again. And the best defensive player in the league finally getting some real money. These everybody needs to get paid besides the quarterback. And shout out to Saquon for getting his bag again. Ron Hootie, what you got? Oh, and R.I.P. Gene Hackman. And R.I.P. out to who's that woman who passed away? Good Lord, I can't feel bad right now.
Gene Hackman?
No, it was a woman. Angie Stone. R.I.P. to Angie Stone.
Angie Stone, yeah. Shout out Knicks. It's that time of year. All of us Knicks fans, and we want to see our team win. So shout out Knicks. Get well soon, Jalen. Shout out NFL free agency. It was an interesting week. It always is. It helps to make our mundane existences go by a little quicker. Our 9 to 5s, a little less dreary and boring while we track what pro athletes doing, what I guess we all wish we could be doing, which is counting and looking forward to the bag for playing a children's game for a living. Kind of sad we didn't get to discuss the LeBron James Stephen A. Smith debacle that transpired.
I thought that would have been the first thing I talked about.
Oh, there's no line on that. That's why.
I don't know what Aaron just said, but my shout out is always interrupted. It's commonplace now. I think Stephen A. Smith, I'm not gonna call him out his name, but I didn't have much respect for him before, and I definitely don't now. And how he just folded and wilted when he should have doubled down because he was right. We all know Bronny James should not be logging any kind of NBA minutes. He should have never been drafted. Only reason he's drafted in the league is because of who his father is, which is what it is. But then when his dad has to come out and try to shield his son and protect his son from the same type of criticism and analytics or whatever you want to call it that every professional athlete is subject to in today's day and age was disgusting to see and to even have listen to people talk about and try to justify. So every player, good, bad, and different, is subject to the talking heads and people like us in podcasts who get to judge them based on what they do on the field, on the court, on the ice, in the ring. And for LeBron James to have the nerve and the ego to approach a journalist, whatever Stephen A. calls himself, and tell him to stop reporting, talking about his son is disgusting. It's disgusting. And someone probably needs to say it's disgusting and call him out on it. LeBron James, all the good he does, I don't know that man personally, but he's not been the best for basketball. He's not been the best. The league takes on the identity of his best players. It's what it does. And basketball is down. Viewership is down. All-Star game was trash. And the league takes on the identity of his best player. And that is what he is. And since he's been in the league, it has gone down. It has gone down since the glory days that we all knew and grew up reveling in. And while we're such adamant fans today, it is not the same. And this debacle is a microcosm of today's NBA athlete. Let's just keep it at that right now. But yeah. So that's not really a shout out, but I had to address it because we didn't get a chance to really talk about it, or maybe I didn't get a chance to talk about it. But yeah.
Dang, are we mourning now? The hell, are we mourning? Like a solid pause. Like,
I just wasn't sure if LeVon was done, so I didn't get a chance to start.
I can keep going now. You know I can keep going. I mean, unless no, go ahead, Billy. Go ahead.
It's NFL offseason, so shout out to all the teams out there that did not draft well, don't have great rosters, and thus have to spend money and draft picks and trades on players outside of their respective locker rooms because the players in your locker rooms are not good enough to get the money that you have doled out to them. And then speaking specifically about two teams, the darlings of the NBA the NFL free agency season. Speaking about the New England Patriots and the Chicago Bears. Shout out to you guys. Your teams were trash, so you spent a lot of money and a bunch of draft picks to go, improve them. Now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens to your respective teams and see where you guys land from there. Shout out to JJ Redick. If you guys did not hear his comments about his team's play after that game in Brooklyn, where he pretty much went on national TV on this press conference and ripped the squad apart. You don't typically hear coaches do that, and it was refreshing to hear a head coach actually dig in and talk about how poorly his team played and how they were absolutely outclassed in a game against a team that they absolutely should have beaten, because even without LeBron James, they should be much better than the Brooklyn Nets, whose starting five I cannot name. Um, Shout out to Big East basketball is back. If you guys don't know, St. John's looks like St. John's is going to be in the tournament, like legitimately in the tournament this time around. Um, St. John's, Providence, Butler, all those teams in the Big East tournament. There were some really good games in the Big East tournament this time around. Definitely enjoyed it. So shout out to that. College basketball is getting ready to round out. We're going to have the field of 64 coming really soon. This has been a very interesting college basketball season. UNC beating Duke last week was actually really interesting. Did not expect that to happen, and it did. So that was definitely a lot of fun. Um, Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. I didn't realize this, but this is the first time in his entire NFL career that he's been an official free agent. He has never been a free agent before in his entire NFL career. So shout out to him for you know, being a free agent and getting the opportunity to actually negotiate his own contract, without being under team control. And shout out to Miles Garrett for completely um, hoodwinking, bamboozling, or
Robin,
whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call what you did um, to the Cleveland Browns, getting them to give you $40 million over the next 4 years, and 88 million, a check for $88 million at signing is absolutely ridiculous, crazy work. And even though you're probably only going to win 5 games next season, who cares? Because your car is going to be flying into the stadium. So you're going to have a flying. You're going to be the first NFL player with a flying car in the stadium. That's
you think the
pretty much what's
Browns
going
have
to happen.
been quite smart enough to learn from Deshaun Watson? But anyway,
Yeah, exactly. No, of course not. Of course not. Um, and then last but not least, I know Ace was giving out a couple of RIPs. RIP to Oliver Miller, former NBA player. The Big O passed away at age 54
oh
yesterday.
damn,
Shout
I
out to
hadn't heard
him.
that one.
And yeah, respect and prayers for his family and loved ones. All right, I'm done. Are we out, Ace?
Without like Aaron Rodgers' career, yeah,
Shedeur Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys with
make
the
it
fourth
happen,
pick in
make
the
it
NFL
happen.
draft.
Mm.
Shedeur Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys. I can't wait. Let's see it. Let's see it, guys. Let's see it. Jerry, don't let me down.
I think Aaron is asleep. Is Oliver Miller a role player?